Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Let's talk about our crushes and have some fun.
You'll see there's a beauty standing. Is she really everywhere? A reflection.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton, and with me as always is Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Zaleski.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
I'm all right.
Good.
I'm tired and coffee.
Yeah. Becca's still getting over a sickness.
Two sicknesses.
Two sicknesses.
Double sickness.
Stacked on top of each other. You sound a million times better than you did 2 weeks ago.
That's true. That's very true.
But anyway, it's just us today. No guests.
The listeners going on a journey with you.
They are. The listeners like, boy, I hope you feel better soon. Sure hope so.
Thanks, listener.
Bekah.
Yes.
Since the thing that you want to do most right now is talk, can you tell us what happened last time on Sweet Valley High, Fight Fire with Fire?
And can you preface that with that we are not forcing you to do this?
Yeah. Of my own free will, I will tell you that I only took 3 notes last time.
Oh my God.
The first note I took is hilarious. Stephen makes Lila throw a soda can to prove she's not the arsonist.
Yes, that part was awesome.
Devon is going to stay at Nana's house. She said she wasn't able to contact him before now, but won't say why. Mm-hmm. And we hypothesize the parents had a restraining order or something like that.
They just didn't want, yeah.
And Elizabeth wrote a fake letter from Lila to Stephen and Jessica.
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. I don't know what my handwriting was doing last time, and I'm having trouble reading my own handwriting. Elizabeth wrote a fake letter from Lila to Stephen. Mm-hmm. And Jessica manipulated Lila at a soda shop.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Which was really fucked up. She, made her...
made her, a scrapbook. Yeah.
These all sound like Vampire Weekend lyrics.
Oh, my God. It does.
Wow. It really does.
They definitely have a lyric about a soda shop somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess not a lot happened, but them throwing the soda can was hilarious. That was one of the funniest parts of this whole book so far.
And I feel like that is really setting Stephen and Lila up for failure. Or Stephen is really setting Lila up for failure. Uh-huh. Because it's the OJ thing and the glove.
Yeah.
That should be something he springs on her in court to show that it really is organic and not
if the
planned.
Can won't hit, you must acquit.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, now they've done it beforehand and now she knows she has to throw the can like a weenie.
Yeah.
She might not be capable of throwing it further, but now he knows that she knows and...
Or she might try too hard next time and actually throw it in front of a jury.
Or they'll know that she's aware, so might think she's faking it.
Yeah.
I just feel like that was such a terrible, terrible idea.
Well, as far as the reader knows, she isn't the arsonist, right?
Yeah, I don't think she is.
I don't think she is either.
But would it be fucking crazy if she was? That would be
I would
wild.
love that, actually. I would love that.
Or maybe it was revealed in the last book that she actually did it. And we're just missing out on a lot of it. We're just none of this makes sense.
I feel like if they told you who did it in the last book, they wouldn't still be going who did it? Because they let you in on what they're thinking. Specifically,
we still haven't met this reporter guy that he thinks it is just because he likes the same kind of soda.
Oh, right. John Pfeiffer, Jingleheimer Schmidt. That's my name too. All right. Well, let's find out what happens on Sweet Valley High, Fight Fire with Fire, Chapter 7.
Wait, Chapter 7?
Yeah.
We are not far in this.
No. We're halfway through.
Almost halfway.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
we've read 2 chapters per episode so far.
And 2 things have happened.
Yes.
I forgot to write down that we read Chapter 6.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Elizabeth sighed contentedly and cuddled closer to Todd.
Oh, Todd hasn't even shown up in this book.
I know. They were sitting on the couch in the Wakefield's den with their history notebooks open on their laps, but Elizabeth's mind wasn't on studying, if you know what I mean. She turned slightly to look up in Todd's coffee-colored eyes. What a poetic way of saying brown. And her notebook tumbled to the floor. Todd leaned over her and reached for the floor to pick up her notes. But Elizabeth...
And he was like, whoopsie, and grazed her boobs.
He was like, whammy. But Elizabeth playfully pushed him back in his seat and planted a big kiss on his lips.
What?
Forget the notebook.
How forward.
Elizabeth said, running her fingers through Todd's curly brown hair. You could say brown that time.
Well, my basement's flooded.
She nuzzled... Just wait, Chris. She nuzzled his neck and traced a trail of kisses across his cheek.
People do that?
We have more important things to do. I'm sorry, Todd said, his eyes dancing. I must be in the wrong house. What?
Is he having a seizure?
I'm sorry. Oh, no.
Either that or you're an imposter and you've kidnapped the real Elizabeth Wakefield. I'm not allowed to skip studying for some quality cuddling time with the guy I love.
The real Elizabeth would never kiss me.
Elizabeth asked in mock indignation. She sat up and crossed her arms in front of her chest. Todd laughed and pulled her to him. You're right, he said huskily. Who am I to judge?
Huskily. You're right.
He wrapped her up in his strong arms, and Elizabeth lost herself in a long, passionate kiss. When they parted...
You're right, he said, in a way that sounded like he's been eating too many nachos lately.
When they parted, she let out a spontaneous giggle. What's got you in such a good mood, Wakefield? Todd asked, reaching over to brush a strand of blonde hair behind her ear. Stephen and Lila, Elizabeth said with a smile. Your brother's name's the grossest first thing you could have said.
Sure is.
Stephen and Lila, Todd repeated, his brow furrowing. I thought you were hoping they would break up. That's just it, Elizabeth said happily. I think they're finally realizing how wrong they are for each other. Those letters were a stroke of genius. Todd, I hope Todd breaks up with her over this.
Yeah. Also, I had a quick question.
Yes.
Have you ever had a boyfriend that called you by your last name?
No.
It doesn't
To
that
be
seem...
fair, well, I didn't have, like, my maiden name doesn't really roll off the tongue. Like, no one called me that.
Yeah.
I feel like Eaton, like, that's a name you could call someone and be like, hey, Eaton. But also, with someone you're dating.
It seems like it's a thing that, it's like a thing you say to a chum.
Yeah, it's the very bro thing.
It's like
I
a
get
bro
called
thing.
Z a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who started it, but I'm just like, cool. That's a cool nickname.
It's like a cool nickname. It's
I
like
lucked
a
out
chummy bro thing, but it's
with
not
the
like
last
if I
name
had a
that starts with
girlfriend
a
in high
Z.
school,
yeah.
I would call her by her last name. That just feels, I don't know,
Yeah.
almost too informal.
Yes. Like, he should be calling her Liz.
Yeah.
Like Jessica does.
Yeah.
Elizabeth stopped abruptly
Or
and felt
Ben.
her face flame red. She hadn't intended to tell Todd about the little scheme she and Jessica cooked up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you better
shit.
get good at lying real fast, Elizabeth.
Babe? What letters? Todd asked lightly. He trailed a finger down Elizabeth's burning cheek. Nothing, Elizabeth stammered. This was one of the rare times she wished she was more like Jessica. Maintaining a poker face was not one of Elizabeth's special talents. Where were we? She improvised.
You read that
pulling
like me.
Todd in
normally.
for another kiss. This time, when they parted, it was Todd's turn to laugh. What's eating you, Liz? He asked. You look like you just killed your best friend. What do you mean?
Why
Elizabeth
would that be the
exclaimed.
thing you say?
Right? What?
Not like you look like you're hiding something.
Yeah, you look nervous.
You look like you killed a person.
You look like you've seen a ghost. Say something like a normal person would say.
Yeah.
We have these turns of phrase for a reason. They serve a purpose.
Not when you're trying to make a word count.
Hey, it's just a figure of speech, Todd said, holding
No,
his
it
hands up
isn't.
in surrender. You just seem a little distracted all of a sudden.
Super not.
I'm fine, Elizabeth squeaked. We should really start studying. She leaned over and quickly grabbed her notebook from the floor. Ditto sheets fluttered out, scattering in all
Ditto
Ditto
directions.
sheets. Wow.
Todd's eyes narrowed with suspicion. Come on, Elizabeth, he said, taking her hand. What's going on? Does this have something to do with Stephen and Lila? You mentioned something about letters. Ellipses. Elizabeth let out a long, defeated sigh and stared at their entwined figures.
Oh, hang on, I got that. Oh, sorry, Alfie. I woke up the cat.
Todd knew her too well. She just hoped he wouldn't be too disappointed in her when he found out what she and Jessica had done.
You're going to think I'm horrible, Elizabeth began, but we did it for Stephen's own good. Do what for Stephen's own good? Todd asked, eyeing her warily. And who's we? Jessica and me, Elizabeth said quietly. We sort of forged some letters. One from Lila to Stephen and one from Stephen to Lila. What did these sort of forged letters say? Todd asked, disentangling his fingers from hers. Uh-oh. The pulling away begins. Elizabeth could tell Todd was already stunned. After all, forging was as bad as lying, and lying wasn't something Elizabeth did very often, but sometimes. She might as well just tell him everything. They were intended to scare both of them off, Elizabeth said, launching ahead bravely. Stephen's letter to Lila was all about how great a wife she would make, taking care of tons of children and looking after a tiny house. Lila's letter to Stephen was all about how she would introduce him to all the right people and make sure he was a famous lawyer. Which, that one doesn't sound bad. What's the bad part of that?
Because Steven's an idiot.
Okay.
He has principles.
Todd's...
An idiot with principles.
What an idiot. Todd's eyes widened in disbelief. Needless to say, they were both a little freaked out, Elizabeth finished. She looked up at Todd hopefully, but he seemed totally appalled. Elizabeth, what were you thinking? Todd asked. Did Jessica blackmail you into doing this or something? That seems like something she would do. Blackmail? That's right up her alley.
His immediate thought was, oh, your evil twin blackmailed you into doing something terrible.
Also, what could she blackmail her with? She hasn't done anything shitty until now that I'm aware of.
Didn't I, like...
It seems more like she would get her to do it at knife point or something.
Yeah. Didn't... Am I wrong? Didn't Jessica blackmail her before? Or... There was something where she,
It
like,
just
found
sounds like
a
something
letter.
she would do.
There's always a lot of letters in these early 90s books.
Yeah, it just
That
doesn't
people
seem
just
like
believed.
Elizabeth has done anything to be blackmailed about.
Like, someone took the time to type
Until
this
now.
up. Clearly, it's real.
On computer
put their
paper and
name on
everything.
it.
Yeah, it's physical. I can touch it.
Suddenly, Elizabeth felt defensive. What she had done was a little sneaky, but she had done it for Stephen's happiness. She hadn't expected Todd to be proud of her, but he could at least try to see that her intentions were good. We were afraid that they wouldn't see how wrong they were for each other until it was too late, Elizabeth said earnestly.
That's not for you to decide.
Somebody had to do something.
Like that.
No, it's...
I know.
This isn't like you, Elizabeth, Todd said. How would you feel if somebody pulled this on us? Elizabeth took one look into Todd's soulful, confused eyes, and her heart turned. Pretty lousy, she admitted after a moment. But Todd, if those letters don't work, I can't promise you I won't try something else. I'm really worried about Stephen. Jesus.
Why?
I didn't think that's where she was going with it. Like,
Yeah.
if those stupid letters are good enough to work, then they shouldn't be together. That would never work on us.
Then we'll
That's
resort-
what I expected.
Yeah.
Not like, I'm gonna try harder.
I'm going to double down
Yeah.
and think of something worse.
Well, that's why I was
What could
thinking, like,
possibly happen to
maybe
Stephen?
she knows-
They'll break up later?
I don't know.
maybe she knows what's her face is the arsonist.
She doesn't know.
No one knows, Chris.
I hope
I mean,
someone does eventually.
I do hope we find out.
Is this the last book or the middle book?
is the
What if
middle
we
book.
don't find out about who the fucking arsonist is?
Oh, we'll look it up.
Okay.
Or
We'll
what
have to let the listener know.
Richie
Yes.
Rich's deal is.
Huh?
Devon
The
Whiteclaw.
Oh,
the other
Devon
character.
Whiteclaw. Yeah.
But he's only just arrived in Sweet Valley. He had nothing to do with the arson. I still have no idea what his storyline is about.
I don't know.
Unless he becomes
How
like...
did his parents die?
I think he
I
killed
don't
him.
remember.
What if their house burned down? I don't remember how they died.
I don't remember how
Might
they
have
died
been
either.
like car crash or lost at sea bullshit.
Or like a mountain climbing accident. That's something that rich people die of.
Mountains.
Mountain climbing.
Why isn't it in the notes?
My notes?
Yeah.
It's probably somewhere. It might be. I don't feel like flipping.
We can't go back, Chris.
It's his life, Liz,
Come too
Todd
far.
said, standing abruptly. He looked down at her as she sat stunned on the couch. It's not your place to play games with it. Todd, wait, Elizabeth called as he snatched up his notebooks and backpack and stalked out of the room. Why are you getting so mad? She followed him out to the front door. I don't know, Todd said.
I do, Todd.
Really? Turning to face her. He fixed her with a steely gaze. It's just sometimes you do things that make me wonder if I really know you at all. Like,
Wow.
what else?
Elizabeth gasped and pulled back as if she'd been slapped. Todd, don't you understand? Lila has already cost Stephen his job and maybe even his career.
Lila
He could
didn't
be
cost
heading for
Stephen his
disaster
job.
if they stay
Stephen
together.
cost Stephen his job. Sorry, I talked over you, but I'm just mad about all of this.
Please try to understand. Todd's eyes softened slightly, as if a golden retriever had turned into a human, and he leaned forward to give Elizabeth a light kiss on her forehead. A lot of sloppy tongue. I know you're doing what you think is
On her
best.
forehead.
Yeah, like a dog. Because he's like a golden retriever.
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
Todd said, leaning back and looking into her eyes. I just want you to be careful, or you may end up hurting more people than you help. Lying has a way of doing that, you know. I know, Elizabeth
So
murmured.
wise, Todd.
But let me worry about that. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed Todd quickly on the cheek. I'll call you later, but think about what I said, Todd warned. As he turned to
Okay,
go,
Dad.
Elizabeth touched the back of Todd's neck gently, then closed the door behind him.
He was
"Don't
like,
turn
"Ooh,
around.
what is that?"
Don't turn around.
It's a
Just give me
spider."
that sweet, sweet back of neck action. You may end up hurting more people than you help. You may end up hurting more people than you help. Todd's words echoed in Elizabeth's mind as she walked slowly up the stairs. Elizabeth would normally agree with him that lying wasn't worth the trouble it caused, but she couldn't see how anyone would get hurt by what she and Jessica had done. Dumb bitch.
You're smart. You're supposed to be the smart
Right?
one.
And empathetic.
Lila and, Lila
You're
and
supposed to be the
Steven
good twin.
Yeah.
hadn't been together for very long, so they probably wouldn't even go through much post-breakup withdrawal.
What? They would both be better off in the end. They
teenage
have
logic.
to be. Elizabeth stopped at the top of the stairs. She could hear scuffing sounds coming from the end of the hall. Stephen had been playing Nerf basketball all morning,
Is that real?
and she couldn't believe he was still at it. Yes.
Is that in the book?
Yeah, yep. I didn't change any of that. What?
I
What?
hope more than anything that he heard her fucking talking about that.
Oh, ooh, me too. I can't get over Steve has been playing Nerf basketball all morning.
He's a grown man bailing people out of
He's
jail
not a grown
and
man. He's
being
like
a lawyer.
19, I think.
He's close to it.
I think we found out in the last chapter that
He's a
he's
little baby lawyer.
19.
Oh, that's right.
It was the 90s. Maybe they couldn't afford to have a television in his room, or
The Wakefields can afford that.
or maybe he
Nerf
wasn't
basketball is
allowed.
just- It's cool. It's cool. His door was slightly ajar, so she knocked and it pushed open. Hey, Liz. Stephen greeted her without taking his eyes from the basketball hoop. The tiny, tiny little plastic basketball hoop. He threw the foam basketball and missed. Loser.
Oh, Stephen.
Picked it up again.
It's been a busy morning,
Made
Liz.
a basket. He
Getting closer.
he slammed it into the
Almost got
basket.
it in that
And he
time.
yelled, "Kobe!" I wa-
You know, maybe 275 will be the lucky one.
I wanted to apologize for the other day, Elizabeth said sincerely. For which thing? Ever since Stephen had blown up at her in the den, she had wanted to clear the air between them, even if she didn't plan on telling him about the real author of his letter from Lila. I didn't mean to upset you with all that talk about Billy. It's already forgotten, Stephen said happily. It's already forgotten, Stephen said happily. Come on in. Elizabeth sighed in relief and parked herself on Stephen's plaid bedspread. She watched as he threw the ball through the hoop again and again without much of a pause. How many hours have you been at this? She asked worriedly.
We all asked worriedly. Stephen picked the basketball up off the floor and popped it through the hoop. Oh, about 4 or 5, I guess. Want to have a game? Elizabeth
I am unemployed, you know.
Elizabeth toyed with a button on the front of her pink flowered t-shirt. Wait.
Why?
Why does it have a button?
What?
No thanks, she answered. Can I ask you a question?
Stop toying with a button on your shirt while you sit on your brother's bed.
Ew.
Stop it. Stop.
Yeah. Stephen paused before tossing the basketball and turned to look at her. Uh-oh. If you have to ask me whether you can ask a question instead of just asking me the question, it's something big. He sat down on the bed beside Elizabeth and tossed the ball from one hand to the other. What's up? He is a sensory nightmare. Elizabeth leaned back, propping herself up on her elbows. I was just wondering, I know you haven't been very social lately. You haven't seen Lila in a couple days. What's keeping you holed up in here like a hermit? Do you have something on your mind? Stephen answered without hesitation. The Fowler Crest case. Elizabeth's eyes widened with surprise and apprehension when she heard his words.
Oh, I desperately want him to have a wall with like red string
yes,
attached
a cork
to
wall. Yeah.
I hope since he's never going to be a lawyer now, he's like, I'll be a private eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
A lot of dames in this town.
A lot of teenage dames.
They
That's
call me
right.
the Sweet Valley PI.
I'm a detective.
She sat up straight and searched Stephen's face for a sign that he was joking, but he looked perfectly serious. Was her brother obsessed? You're still working on the case even though Garrison fired you over it? Elizabeth asked incredulously.
Yes, he replied. I've found some new evidence. It's only a matter of time before I have the case sewn up tight. New evidence, Elizabeth asked. Evidence that clears Lila? More like evidence that proves John Pfeiffer Mellencamp guilty. Stephen answered with a smile. I'm going to make sure that loser finally gets locked away like he should have been a long time ago. A cold chill ran down Elizabeth's spine. Stephen seemed pretty convinced of John's guilt. She wasn't sure what this new evidence was, but if Stephen was right about John, that meant that Elizabeth had been working alongside a complete maniac at the Oracle. I just wish I could get inside Pfeiffer's house, Stephen said, rubbing his chin. I'm sure I'd find something solid there that would prove my theory.
Please don't do that.
It's breaking and entering, Stephen.
Sometimes PIs have to break the rules. Stephen, Elizabeth
Not when they're
exclaimed.
teenagers.
When you're a kid detective, you have to climb through some windows.
Detective.
Stephen, Elizabeth exclaimed, you're not actually thinking about breaking into John's house, are you? I mean, it was bad enough when you went through his desk and the evidence room and all that other shit you did. What if the DA found out? Of course I'm not going to break into his house, Liz, Stephen answered evenly, but Garrison can't prevent me from investigating on my own. I believe Lila is innocent, and I'm going to prove it.
My name isn't Stephen Wakefield.
Same page.
Every once in a while, do you think like, that's why we're friends?
Constantly.
Constantly.
If it was a once in a while happening, but it always happens.
Oh my God. Stephen got up and started playing again. It's strange, but doing this helps me think, he said. It's not strange. It's a scientifically proven thing. I can't remember what it's called. But it's like when you think of shit when you're like driving or in the shower.
I don't know what it's called.
It's the thing where like you
No,
occupy
I know
your
what
mind
it
with like
is.
yeah,
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
I think it's called thinking of shit.
Oh,
Occupied in the shower.
okay, yeah.
It's called Shower thoughts.
Shower.
It's called Shower.
It's called
Let's move on.
Shower thoughts. I know I'm missing one piece of the puzzle, and when I find it, I'm bringing my evidence to the DA. He'll love it. He'll be so happy I did all this work for him. Elizabeth sighed. She knew that her brother was determined, and it was useless to argue anymore. It looked like nothing was going to stop him now. What do you want to stop him from doing, Elizabeth? You stop him from living, breathing air?
Like, I know books about teenagers can't have too much parents in them because then it all falls apart.
Right.
But where are their fucking parents? But these two
Yeah.
teenage girls are trying to manipulate their older brother who has a job and lost a job.
Yeah.
Their mom should be like, can you guys chill the fuck out?
Can you leave him
or
alone?
you're not going to homecoming this year?
Yeah, can you leave your brother alone?
Yeah.
I want these fucking dogs to chill the fuck out because they're just barking nonstop.
Oh, I can't hear.
They want justice for Lila. Jessica
I mean, the worst part is they're my dogs.
Oh no. Jessica slammed the front door and bounded up the stairs. No doubt Elizabeth was sitting up in her room doing something boring like studying or working on a crossword puzzle, and Jessica couldn't wait to tell her the good news about her meeting with Lila. She burst into her sister's room and found her, predictably, sitting at her desk like a fucking loser. Aren't you going to say hello to your better half? Jessica asked breezily. That was the opposite of breezily. Hello, Elizabeth answered without looking up from her chemistry book. Ever hear of knocking? Yeah, bitch. Jessica was in too good a mood to respond to Elizabeth's comment. How can you sit up here studying on this beautiful afternoon? Without waiting for an answer, Jessica dumped the blue bikini onto the bed. Look what I bought! Isn't it great? Elizabeth put down her book and groaned. More clothes? Didn't you get enough on your shopping expeditions with Lila? Jessica, you have a problem.
They all have problems.
I know.
Jessica made an exasperated face. I didn't get a new bathing suit. Don't you just love it? It's nice, Elizabeth said half-heartedly. Maybe you'll be more interested in the conversation I just had with Lila, Jessica announced, stuffing the bikini back in the bag. She almost laughed when she saw the spark of curiosity in her sister's eyes. What conversation? Elizabeth asked. She was pretending to be bored, but Jessica could see right through her sister's little act. The girl was hanging on Jessica's every word. Jesus Christ, Jessica, calm down. She flashed Elizabeth a mischievous smile, then quickly filled her twin in on what had happened at the dairy burger.
Jessica's
Every
like,
time I read the way they spell dairy in this book, it
it-
gives me an aneurysm.
it's awful. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Jessica's like
Call it the diary burger.
Yeah.
The slimmest,
Dairy.
like the
Diary burger.
the smallest like sliver of power.
We meet
Jessica's
later at
like,
the diary.
I'm a monster.
The relationship between Stephen and Lila is on its way to ruin. I hope you're right, Elizabeth said, but Stephen says he's been thinking about the Fowler Crest case all day. He still won't leave it alone. He's totally convinced that John Pfeiffer is the arsonist. Jessica shuddered. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if that creep turned out to be guilty, she said. Maybe Stephen's right. And he'll prove Lila's innocent and break up with her. And everything will be back to normal. I hope you're right, Elizabeth said, but there's just one thing bothering me.
Jessica rolled her eyes. Why couldn't Elizabeth ever just be happy? What now? Well, Stephen hasn't seen Lila in a few days, and from what you said about your conversation with her, Lila won't be going anywhere near Stephen in the near future, Elizabeth answered. That's what we wanted, silly, Jessica said, bounding off the bed and crossing the room to Elizabeth's mirror. She grabbed a little tub of lip balm off her sister's desk. What's the problem? Ever hear of absence making the heart grow fonder? Elizabeth asked. She got up from her desk and plopped down on the edge of her bed. What if they both suddenly realize they miss each other? Jessica flipped her hair over her shoulders and dabbed at her lips. She had to admit her sister had a point. So let's not give them time to miss each other. She turned around to face Elizabeth. Another brilliant idea, quickly taking form. I think
you don't want them together. You don't want them apart. Like, where's the end?
I still can't believe that their entire plotline, the two of them, is just trying to break up her brother.
Yeah.
It's just manipulating people.
Yeah.
It's like season 3 of Lost when they're just spinning wheels.
Like, if they become secret agents, great. These skills will become necessary. But
that's what this is setting up.
This isn't secret agents. This is just fucking over innocent people.
Yeah.
I think we ought to strike while the iron is hot, Jessica continued. If we can get them alone together soon while Stephen is still put off by the letter and Lila is horrified about cooking and ironing, I'll bet there would be a huge blow-up. Elizabeth nodded solemnly. Right? Let's not give Lila time to forget about the idea of washing Stephen's socks.
Like in a wash tub with like a board?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an old-timey person?
Like,
Also, I had a great punchline-y ending to my segment. And it was as written.
oh. I thought I was waiting, but then you, okay. But how can we get them together? Wait, what? Wait. So now they're trying to get them together. How much longer is this book?
I think we're just about halfway through.
Fuck. Okay.
This does feel incredibly long.
Jessica jumped onto the bed next to Elizabeth and curled her legs under her. I know what to do, she said excitedly. It's perfect. The big Mesa game is on Saturday, right? Elizabeth's eyes clouded with confusion. What does football have to do with this? She asked. Jessica grinned. Sometimes her dear sister could be so dense. It's a big game, she said, bouncing up and down a couple of times for emphasis. That's so obnoxious. We'll make sure Lila goes, and I'll tell her Stephen wants to meet her to talk somewhere off by themselves. Meanwhile, you can get Stephen to go to the game with you and Todd and tell him Lila wants to see him. Elizabeth stared at Jessica, looking half impressed, half shocked. I knew you had a devious mind, Jessica, she said jokingly. But don't you think this is a little over the top? I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Have you read the other books?
Also, this is way less over the top than writing fucking forged letters.
Yes.
Also, for the plan to keep being
Yeah.
like lies that are so easily disproven.
Yeah.
Like, she wanted to talk to you about this, or he wrote you this letter. They could easily just have a conversation that's like, I didn't write you a letter. Oh, I didn't write you a letter.
It's crazy
Okay,
that they
problem
haven't
solved.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither of them they're dancing around the fucking point of the thing.
Yeah. It's crazy that neither one of them have been like, like you wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just immediately blurted out, bro, what was up with that letter?
Yeah. I hated it. Don't you think it's a little over the top? I mean, once they get together, wouldn't they figure it out? Oh, they'll be so busy breaking up they won't think to ask each other how they got there, Jessica exclaimed. It's perfect, Liz! Elizabeth sighed, but then Jessica saw her sister's mouth start to turn up in a reluctant smile. With Elizabeth's help, Jessica's plan was sure to work. Stephen and Lila's relationship was about to go up in smoke.
Like her house.
Like her house! What if Jessica's the arsonist?
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't either.
Meanwhile, Devon gave the squeaky hinge another drop of oil, then swung the kitchen door back and forth. It moved smoothly and silently. Satisfied, he put the oil can down on the counter and wiped his hands on a rag. The noise had been driving him crazy.
What?
In the past couple of days. And it's like really an actual oil can,
Yeah.
and not just like some WD-40.
We had an oil can growing up. Did you not?
No.
No,
And she
you're
was-
old.
I'm not that old.
I grew up in the modern times of buying WD-40.
We had a straight up oil can, and I remember taking it and like putting my thumb in the bottom, and it goes like. Doop, 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 doop.
I've never touched an oil can.
It's
What
fun.
were horses and carriages
even-
like?
Understand what noise you're making.
It's the
Did
sound
you
of
also play with a hoop and a stick?
No,
You would have.
I would
I
have.
see the look on your face.
I would have. I still would now.
Okay. In the
We had
past
this
couple
game
of
we
days,
played called Surviving.
in the past couple of days, Devon had noticed that there were lots of repairs that needed doing around Nana's house. Leaky faucets needed washers, light switches needed rewiring, and drains needed fixing. Luckily, when Devon was young...
He sure is handy for
Hold
a
on.
rich kid. Are you about to explain it?
Yes, in a very stupid way.
Okay, cool.
Luckily, when Devon was young, he used to hang out with any plumbers, electricians, and cable guys who came to the mansion. That's fucking grim.
What is he, our cat Alfie? That is crazy.
It was a way out of boredom, and it taught him a few things as well.
What the fuck?
Devin, can
What
you
the
imagine what
fuck?
those poor plumbers thought with this little child? It's like, will you be my friend? I
Excuse
don't have
me?
any except my Nana.
Yeah.
Are you my father?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Can you take me home with you?
don't talk to the hired help.
There's these people.
He's here to fix the poop machine.
There's these people that I don't eat dinner with that might be my parents, but I'm not entirely sure because I've never spoken with them.
I forget he wasn't allowed to eat.
I just call them sir and ma'am.
I
Devin,
call them
said-
Mr. and Mrs. Whiteclaw.
yeah.
They just said children should be seen, not heard.
Especially by plumbers.
For the first 7 years of my life, I thought my name was the boy.
Devin walked into the kitchen and started washing his hands in the sink. He smiled as he remembered what Nana had said to him the night before when she caught him working on an old clock. He can fix clocks? That's
This
another
is-
level of skill. How many clockmakers did they have at his house as a child?
I am handy. But I am not as handy as this rich kid, and I'm
Yeah.
bothered by that.
You gotta start learning how to fix clocks.
Oh my god, it's a forgotten art.
You don't have to do that, she told him. Ride around on your motorcycle and get to know the town. Go to the beach and meet some girls.
Yeah.
But he
Devin,
built that motorcycle with his bare fucking hands.
Devin had told her there would be plenty of time for that. He enjoyed making himself useful. Nana had provided him with a place to stay, and he didn't want to just lie around taking up space. Besides, working with his hands kept his mind occupied too. It helped him deal with the war between logic and emotion that was going on inside him.
Jesus Christ.
Just
Devin sighed.
got
have so many
haunted
feelings.
eyes, staring into the middle distance,
Yeah.
like fixing a clock.
Shook the water from his hands and plopped down at the kitchen table. Looking out the window, he saw two suns.
Music
I
swelled.
expect great things for Devin. The longer he stayed in Nana's house, the more he wanted to give in to her apparent kindness. It was hard to feel anything but affection and admiration for this woman who appeared to spread goodness wherever she went. Why would that be a hard thing to do? It seems like it would be the easiest thing to do.
Right?
Like a sweet old lady? Fuck her.
Like, oh
What
no,
is she
clearly
hiding?
you're great.
Hard to feel anything but affection.
Give people a chance to disappoint you. At the same time, Devin struggled harder and harder to keep a hold on his heart. What if her kindness was just greed in disguise?
Jesus Christ.
Devin noticed a framed print on the floor, propped up against the wall. There was a tiny hole in the wall above it that looked as if it had once held a nail. Devin shook his head. Maybe he would rehang the artwork, and that would be his last chore for the day. He headed for the garage to find a nail and a hammer. The small, musty garage was in an even worse state than the house. There were shelves along one wall where Nana stored everything from canned food and broken lamps to the few tools she owned. The shelves themselves were cracked and broken. Devin made a mental note to replace them as soon as he could borrow Nana's car, 'cause he's rich. Devin started rummaging around, looking for a box of nails. Suddenly, one of the shelves gave, and a metal box came tumbling down.
Ooh, a box of secret.
Secret box.
Box of
Also, while you
secrets.
were describing that garage, I was just picturing it in like Fallout terms, and I'm just
yeah.
like, pick all of it up, pick all of it up, pick all of it up, all that junk.
That's what I was thinking when I heard oil can.
Oh yeah, Fallout.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
oil in
was-
that oil can.
I was
I
thinking of
know.
it in Starfield terms because I picked that shit back up.
Oh, I keep meaning to do that. Is it good?
Yeah,
New shit
I mean
good?
it's still the same game, but like the new shit's cool, and the fact that there's mods.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's mods now.
Oh my gosh, it's not like as many as you'd think.
Yeah.
Like they're taking their time coming to console, but like, oh man, like the shit you can do with ships now,
Ooh.
it's insane.
All right, I'll check it out.
Every time
And you could decorate the inside of the ships now.
That's what I heard. You can do that.
Every time I hear something good about that game, it's about building ships, which I couldn't give less of a fuck
Oh
about.
yeah, yeah. That's
I'll
not.
just keep playing Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, no, the story's still the same. But the trailer for the DLC looked fucking awesome.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Devon jumped back just in time to avoid being hit on the head. That was close, he muttered as the box crashed to the floor. When it hit, the top flew open and the contents of the box spilled out onto the dirty cement. Devon blinked at the mess. There were letters, dozens of them, in envelopes of cream, pale, yellow, pastel blue, and pink. Wow, Devon thought. Nana must really be sentimental if she saved all her correspondence. He bent down to scoop the... Or she's an old person.
Yeah, any old person.
Any old person. The amount of greeting cards we had to throw out of my grandmother's house after she died. He bent down to scoop the envelopes into the box. As Devon
I feel bad about this, but I need to make a confession.
Yes, please.
Like, when someone gives me a birthday card...
Yeah, you throw it away?
It's... like, why... What am I supposed to do with this now? Like, am I supposed to treasure it forever and display it? Is there like a period of time that I have to display it, that I'm required to?
I usually put them out for a month-ish and then throw most of them away. But now everyone sends like cards that are pictures of them and their kids, and I feel like I need to hang on to those.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll save a card if like someone's on the brink of dying, or I just kept a card around out of guilt and then the person died. I'm like, well, I can't throw this away.
Throw this away now. I am very heartless when it comes to this.
You are.
I throw that shit away immediately because I used to hang on to them, and then I would be like, what the fuck am I, like, there's a million cards.
I wish I was where you are. But mostly it's,
just let John come over. He'll throw your stuff
I'll throw away.
He's merciless.
Well, no.
I'll sweep shit off the fridge and I'll be like, into the trash.
I always do eventually throw them away, but usually like in chunks. Mm-hmm. Like I'll get to a point and I'm just like, why do I have these? Like, why are these taking up space in my life? And I just get rid of them. I purge.
Yeah.
And because I have limited space.
Yeah.
Small house living.
Throw that shit away. It's not something against the person who gave you a card.
It's because like I read it once, I set it down, and then it sits there for months.
You're supposed to read it once.
Or sometimes if cards are funny, like...
And then it goes in the trash.
Yeah.
I was looking through my old photo album recently, and I had shoved just a bunch of cards in there that were like way after any pictures in that album were taken, because it was basically like middle school and high school.
Yeah.
But I found a bunch of cards from Joe and Brian, because they all have like terrible puns in them.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've kept every card that they've given us.
Oh, they sent me a card one time, I think for my birthday, and I think it was like handmade because they had like cut out maybe like, I don't know, it was just like pictures of like beefcake dudes. Oh. It was very silly, and I think I hung on to that one because it was so funny. I think
they also sent us a card for Christmas where they had like cut out our faces and put them over reindeer.
Yes. So the I guess if you put a lot of effort into it and it's really funny, I'll hang on to that.
The lesson is make better cards, idiots.
Yeah,
keep
make better
your cards if they're good.
You want me to keep your card? Put some fucking effort into it.
Well,
did you just order a card from a website of a picture of your family? Into the trash.
Not all of them. Some we keep. Some I keep.
Now it just sounds like you're bragging that you get way better cards than I do.
Well, get on Joe and Brian's
just Joe and Brian,
It's just Joe and Brian. Just get on their Christmas card list or something. It's pretty great.
Joe and Brian, if you're listening, put me on your damn Christmas card list. I'm not saying my address here, but like, reach out if you care.
Send them a DM.
Because if you do care, you'll listen to this. And if not, well, I'll know you don't care to send me a Christmas card. It doesn't mean you didn't listen to it. Oof, it just means you don't want to send me a Christmas card.
The guilt.
And and we'll both live with that fact that I know.
Where was I?
I have no idea.
He scooped the envelopes.
Who's going to give out
box
first, guys? That's what I'm saying.
As Devon grabbed up one of the letters, he couldn't help peeking at the address. Maybe they were secret love letters from Nana to some long-lost boyfriend. I want to read that smut, Devon thought. But when he saw the carefully printed address, Devon's heart nearly stopped. The letter was addressed to Devon himself.
OMG.
At his house in Connecticut, obviously. Return to sender was stamped across the front of the sealed envelope in huge red letters. Devon's hands trembled as he picked up another letter, and then another letter, and then another, and his mind reeled as he saw his own name printed again and again. Some were brittle and yellowed with age, and the ink had smudged on a few of them, but they were all undeniably addressed to him, and they were all stamped, "Return to sender." Devon's heart thudded in his chest, and sweat broke out on his palms.
I don't want Nana to turn out to be a serial killer, and I'm glad that that's not what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Well, I was thinking
But that's a
it was
frightening
sweet
thing.
of her to send a few letters, but like, at what point would you
Did
give
you
up?
stop?
Like, you're
Yeah.
a babysitter for an. What was it? He was like 8 or 9 when she left.
Yeah.
Unless she is
His mother.
bio mom.
Yeah. I think that's
I
it.
think it's fucking like it's kind of if it's like decades.
Yeah.
If
she
it's
was-
more than a month's worth of letters, it's psychotic to
I
keep
mean,
sending them.
Yeah.
If she was like live-in nanny, like taking care of him 24/7 for 8 straight years, I could see her sending that many letters. Because like in her head, it's just like, no, at this point, that
I
is
raised
my
him.
kid.
Yeah. But I mean,
And I care about him.
Yeah. That's still wild.
I don't know. I'd give up sooner.
I give up.
But no, I still go with my original theory of a biomom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Egg donor.
The whole pile of letters had been sent to him in Connecticut, but he had never received a single one. His parents must have intercepted them and returned them all unopened. How could they do this to
I
me?
like the idea of like the mailman coming up with the letter and his dad coming out and just like chopping it.
Just slamming a stamp down, just windmill slam a stamp down on it.
No.
I feel like as rich as
Just
he
ready
was,
with the ink pad
Yeah.
when the mailman walks up.
Yeah.
I feel like as rich as he was, he didn't find out about the mailman until he was like a teenager.
Who, Devon?
Well, I don't know. He hung out with
Yeah.
all the workers. He probably sat there and talked to the mailman for like 45 minutes.
He's like, how'd you become a mailman? What's your salary like?
Can I come with you?
Do you have good
Why
benefits?
do you wear blue?
Do dogs chase you a lot?
What's the stripe on your pants mean?
Why isn't there a door
does it
on your
mean?
car?
How could they make me think that Nana didn't care about me? Numb, he stuffed the envelopes back into the metal box and carried it into the house, through the living room, and into the tiny space that had been his bedroom for the past few days. He plopped down on his bed and dumped the contents of the box out onto the patchwork quilt. Then he just sat there and stared. Should I open them? He wondered hesitantly. For a moment, he felt like he was evading Nana's privacy. But they are addressed to me, he said out loud, like a normal, non-crazy person. Nervously, Devon wiped his palm on the thigh of his jean and plucked a cream-colored envelope from the top of the pile. He held the envelope carefully and examined the postmark. The letter had been written nearly a year after Nana had left the Whiteclaws. He slid his finger under the flap and tore along the crease. He swallowed, then pulled out several pages and began to read.
Several. Several? Jesus Christ, Nana.
Well, also, that's another thought is, how much does she have to say?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's going on in
To
her
a
life to have so much
child,
to
to
write
a
about?
child.
Yeah, to a 10-year-old.
I witnessed a murder today.
My dearest Devon, did you get the trades I sent you for your birthday? I hope you are enjoying playing with them. Maybe you can come to visit me someday soon, and together we'll take a ride on a real train.
I think you know that he didn't get the fucking trains if you've been getting returned letters for a year, Nana.
This is depressing.
Blood rushed to Devon's head, and he felt as if he might explode with anger. I wonder what they did with those trains, Devon thought.
I want those trains. They're mine.
I could have
just
had
trashed them.
trains.
It would be nice to think that his parents had at least donated the gift to a charity, but he
know they
knew
didn't.
better. They never thought of anyone but themselves.
I just like threw them in the woods.
Yeah.
And these letters prove that, Devon whispered through clenched teeth. He's a very clenched person.
He is.
He picked up another envelope and tore it open. Dearest Devon, he read, I always think of you at Christmas. Working frantically, as if drawn by a force he couldn't control, Devon ripped open envelope after envelope. He read a few lines each time before putting the letter aside to grab another. Finally, Devon reached the last, a heavy envelope of pastel blue. It was dated only a month earlier. Devon held the letter
A
carefully.
month earlier from now?
I guess. When did his parents die?
what
Like
it
a week
says.
ago?
Good God,
I thought he had a whole Vegas adventure.
Devon
He
held the
did.
letter carefully, almost afraid to believe that she had been so devoted all this time.
I am also afraid of that.
Me too.
He tore it open and read.
I'm so happy
I'm
that
so
I couldn't read
jealous.
this. Dear Devon, I know you'll be going to your junior prom soon. You must be so grown up now. I wish I could go with you as your date. Devon's
Oh
Devon's
no, it was her coping mechanism. Because she didn't have social media to post on. So she vague booked
she vague booked to him.
letters to Devon, knowing they'll just get sent back.
Devon's arm dropped.
Wow.
He was too overcome with emotion to go on.
Sweet Rally invented social media.
It did. He rested his head in his hands, exhausted. Piled beside him were years of Nana's affection, of her longing to see him, of her caring. Years and years during which Devon had made himself forget about her. Years and years in which his parents had been so distant, so cold. He had longed for Nana all that time, and had been tremendously hurt when he hadn't heard from her. All the pain Devon had felt as a sad and lonely child, hanging out with plumbers and electricians, welled up inside. He had locked it away for so long, and now it threatened to overwhelm him. Devon took a deep breath, and a harsh, rasping sound tore through his chest. Jesus
Like
Christ.
my chest all the time
Oh,
now.
no. Devon had flu-rona. Soon his whole body was racked with wave after wave of powerful, dry sobs. Devon doubled over and hugged his arms to his body. Then, when he thought he could stand the pain no longer, he finally wept.
And formed a cocoon around himself.
Why did it take so long to make
Christ.
tears come out?
Oh, you had to work him up. I'm borrowing it again.
Which, when broken, he emerges a new Devon. Devon 2.
Emerge from my Devon
Electric
chrysalis.
Boogaloo.
Devon lay flat on his back with his forearm covering
Did we
his
really
eyes.
only read one chapter so far?
Yes.
Oh my god. There's a lot of meat in the last one, at least.
In the last chapter?
Yeah, the last chapter had some meat in there.
Oh, yeah. I only took 2 notes. He took a deep breath and let it out slowly, wondering how long he'd been crying. Sitting up, he blinked a few times to clear any remnants of tears and stared out the window. It looked as if the sun was just setting. Stretching out his arms, Devon smiled slightly. The outpouring of emotion had left him feeling drained and weak, yet somehow refreshed too. The strain of holding his sadness inside was gone, and his whole body felt freer, lighter. Now he could do what he really wanted to do. Read each and every letter all the way through. Jesus Christ, we're still in the letters. Devon picked up a letter at random. Sorry. I'm dying.
Well,
Leaned
just
back.
finish your page first before you die.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Gotta get a good recording here.
Yeah.
All right, we're professionals. We're pros.
I'm so sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah.
Devon picked a letter at random,
Who
leaned back
records with a cough?
leaned back against the headboard and started to read. Devon perused each letter carefully, letting the words wrap around him like a warm blanket. He's still reading the fucking
I was just gonna
letters. He
say.
just went back to read them all,
Good
like
Lord.
top to bottom.
Yeah.
The more he read, the closer he felt to Dana, and the more certain he was that he had finally found someone he could really trust.
Do you know what Nana's favorite song is?
What?
Na 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 na.
I thought it was going to be Please, Mr. Postman.
Because of the letters.
Yeah.
No, I'm just picking the song where they
Those
just
are
say
both
na na
great.
na 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 over again.
Becca's was better though.
Oh come on! I worked hard on that. Just kidding.
Because,
just
well,
thought
I
it.
feel like Bekah's is better because Nana, as a character so far, from what we've read so far, I don't know if you remember every episode we record.
Sure,
but
sure,
I remember
sure.
every episode we
Yes.
record.
Yep.
And we know that Nana is more of a hello person and not a goodbye person.
What?
That's the vibe I've been getting from her from this journey we've been on.
What is the what?
It's the song.
So that's why Bekah's
you're
song's
singing.
better. 'Cause your song's about goodbyes.
Oh, I was thinking of that fucking Beatles song.
Oh. She hates that song.
She hates that song.
Yeah.
Too many goodbyes in it. Move your goddamn feet.
But it's
Table's too small.
I'll just man spread and
Okay.
put them to the sides.
We're not on a bus. You can man spread all you want. No. All right. Someone's got to read this book.
All right. Where was I?
It's not going to be me.
When it's really bad, we really try our best to not actually read it, don't
I
we?
know. We just
When it's really bad, all
really
I can
milk
do
these
is
tangents.
interrupt as much as I can. That's why it takes forever.
All right. It was my turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I think I just finished.
No, I
No,
did.
no, no.
The words
Oh,
wrapped around him like
okay.
a warm blanket.
All right.
Like a warm blanket, Chris.
The more he read, the closer he felt to Nana, and the more certain he was that he had finally found someone he could really trust. Her love and caring poured from every page. He was so absorbed that he didn't hear the door click open. He didn't even know someone else was in the room with him until Nana spoke. Devon, she said softly. A single look at Nana's face told Devon that she already understood what had happened. Their eyes locked for a moment of deep communication.
Yeah, it's not
Kiss.
exactly vague what's happening. You dumped the
Devon.
letters all over your bed.
Kiss.
Ew.
Devon began gathering the letters into a neat pile.
Unless you're related. Then don't.
All these letters, all those years, he said hoarsely. When I asked you why you never tried to contact me, why didn't you tell me? He picked up one of the envelopes. It would have meant so much to me to know. Nana sat down on the edge of the bed and clasped her hands in the lap of her long blue skirt. She was still wearing the name tag she wore at the daycare center on the right side of her crisp white blouse. Wait, she put the name tag on?
It just says Nana.
Oh,
It
no,
just says
she
Nana.
works at a daycare center. Okay.
Yeah.
It says
I thought,
Nana, parentheses, Nan.
I put the
Nan.
name tag on that I wore when you were younger.
Parentheses.
Or-
Nanny.
It's or yeah, wait, no, it says
Nan, Nana, Nanny.
Nan parentheses Nan or quotation Nan Nana. Nana. I'm Nan Nana, but you can call me Nan.
Jesus.
All right, here we go. Your parents' deaths are so fresh, Devon, Nana said softly, shaking her head. I thought it was enough for you to bear. I was afraid if I told you about the letters, it would complicate things. Nana's eyes glistened. I didn't want you to hate your parents. Devon's lip curled. Oh. Don't cry, Devon.
Oh no.
I think that was decided long before I arrived on your doorstep, he said, his voice full of cold rage.
Why did they keep sending your letters back? Nana stood and walked to the window. She stared out silently for a few moments before turning back to Devon. Well, Devon prompted. Nana twisted her hands. Because I suppose they... Her voice trailed off. Devon snorted. They know how heartbroken I was about never hearing from you. I asked about you all the time. His voice cracked. When I was little, I cried about you every night.
God.
Then when I was older, something inside of me just closed up. You were more like my mother than my mother, and you were gone forever. Nana turned and put her hand on Devon's shoulder.
That was amazing.
Thank you. Oh, no, Devon, she said. You mustn't feel that way. Your mother loved you very much, and still does if we're right. That's a laugh, Devon said dryly. Listen to me, Devon, Nana said. She loved you the only way she knew how. She had a hard time expressing her love, that's all. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I think it hurt her sometimes.
Not that quiet of a whisper, though, right?
I think it hurt her sometimes that you and I became so close.
Now she sounds like a skeleton.
I think
Sounds
she
like
sounds like
Yoda
Yoda.
dying.
That's what I was also thinking. She sounds like Yoda dying. Look, there is another white claw. I think she felt left out. Left out! Devon snorted again. I used to ache for my mother to give me a hug, or play with me, or do one single thing to show me she loved me. This is awesome.
This is so sad.
Yeah, but I love screaming.
He stood up and started to pace the small area between his bed and his closet. But all she did was ignore me or criticize me. You were the one who bathed me, who fed me, who took care of me when I was sick. If she loved me so much, why didn't she do those things? Nana's face crumpled a little. I'm sure she would have if she had known how, Devon. Maybe your mother just wasn't good at showing affection. So then you agree she was a terrible mother.
Maybe if someone taught her how to wash a baby, she would have.
Yeah, maybe if she knew how to love and wasn't a cold monster.
Cold, rich bitch.
Devon spoke through gritted teeth. I'll say she wasn't. Besides, she was too busy going to society parties. Having a little boy around was always so inconvenient. Devon, please don't talk this way, Nana begged. Let him have his feelings, Nana.
Right?
But Devon barely heard her.
Society parties.
Yeah. Connecticut Society.
Yeah. Fucking Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. Do you remember the time I fell and skinned my knee in the yard? He demanded. Only once.
I thought that was her talking.
You patched me up even though you were only 4.
You learned it from all of those blue-collar workers. It's like a field medic.
I ran into the house crying for my mother. His face darkened with anger. That was before I knew better, Devon rambled on.
Jesus.
She was getting ready to go out. She said she didn't want my muddy hands on her dress. She screamed at you to get me away from her. God
Good
damn.
God.
That's
Devon?
awful.
Man.
Devon clenched his hands into fists at his sides. My father was even worse, always trying to control me, but never trying to love me. Never playing ball with me or going places with me the way other dads did. I do hate them. I hate them and I'll never, ever forgive them.
I'm glad they're dead.
I am glad that they're dead.
Me too.
Because if they weren't, I feel like he'd kill them.
Yeah. Or himself. Like, this is bleak.
God damn.
All right.
Yeah, he can. It's not too late. He can get into therapy and straighten this all out.
Yeah.
But if they were alive, I'd be concerned for them.
Yeah.
Devon, please sit down. She walked over to him and led him back to the bed.
Ugh.
What you're doing can only hurt you more. Hate is never the answer. You've got to put it behind you if you're ever to get on with living.
Hate leads to suffering.
Yeah, I really
from
thought about
Star
doing a
Wars.
Jedi thing, but
Yeah, of course, it's Star Wars.
Devon let her words sink in. In his heart, he knew she was right. The longer he carried this bitterness with him, the more it would eat away at his soul, the way it had been eating at him since his parents had died. I'll try not to hate them, he said finally. I'll take it day by day. Still pretty mad right now. Nana patted his hand. That's the spirit. She paused for a moment. There's something I've been thinking about very seriously, Devon, she said. I know it's a big step, but I wish you would consider staying on with me. There is an excellent high school here, and I think you should get back to your studies before you miss much more. Not that catching up will be a problem for a brilliant boy like you, she added. Devon felt calmness and warmth slowly flooding his body. Staying here in Sweet Valley would be a dream come true, he thought. He suddenly realized how much he missed going to school and studying science, being around kids his own age. This book is so dumb.
God, I miss science and teenagers.
Oh God!
I'm
How
like
I
trying.
long for science and teens.
I'm trying real hard to sell it, but it's hard.
You're doing a great job.
What do you say, Devon? Nana asked. Sunshine, girls in bikinis, will you give it a try?
Devon looked into Nana's kind blue eyes. Nana was the only person he had ever trusted, and now he knew he still could. I'd love to stay, he said finally. For the first time since he could remember, he really felt as if he had found a home. I hope that eventually you'll agree to become my legal guardian. Nana's voice shook with emotion.
He said that?
Yeah.
That is a crazy thing to say.
That's his quest.
I know, but who says that?
I hope that eventually you'll agree to become my legal guardian. Nana's voice shook with emotion. Of course, Devon. It's that what you decide you want. Nothing would please me more. It is what I want, Devon said, surprised at his own certainty. He opened his mouth to tell Nana about the inheritance, but swallowed the words. It looked like this. He went,
I'm gonna be the Batman of Sweet Valley.
He didn't want talk of money to spoil this moment, and he knew Nana wouldn't care anyway. There would be time enough to discuss it. Now that he had found a home, he had all the time in the world. Meanwhile, mind if I sit down? Jessica asked brightly. It was Friday afternoon, and Jessica had spotted Lila eating alone in the cafeteria. It was time to put the last phase of Operation Breakup in motion. Huh? Lila asked, obviously startled. Oh, no. Go ahead. Jessica plopped into a chair and watched as Lila listlessly pushed her food around on her plate. Listen, Lai, I know you're worried about your hearing, and you've been through a lot lately. Lai.
But it's time for you to snap out of this depression you've been in. You're so boring these days. Lila's lips curled into a half smile. Thanks, Jess, but it's easier said than done. She sat up straighter. Actually, I have been feeling a little better lately. They've done a lot of construction on the house. The sooner I see it fully restored, the quicker I can put the fire out of my mind. That's great, Jessica said sincerely. She took a bite of her tuna salad sandwich and washed it down with a swig of water.
Nice.
Of course, Lila said. I'll never entirely forget what happened. Maybe not, Jessica said cheerfully, but once you get back into the swing of things, you'll brighten right up. What do you mean, get back into the swing of things? Lila asked, looking wary. You've got to start getting out more, Jessica responded. The big football game against Big Mesa is tomorrow. So stupid.
You can't have big twice in a sentence like that.
Big Mesa.
Big Mesa.
Why don't you come with me? It'll be like old times. Lila's eyes widened. Oh, I don't know if I'm up for the football game, Jess. Everyone will be staring at me. Hiding won't help, Jessica said firmly. The sooner people get used to seeing you out, the quicker they'll stop staring.
You never know, Lila. You might just have fun. Jessica held her breath. If Lila didn't agree to come with her, her plan was as good as finished, and then she'd have to kill her. Lila sighed. Well, I guess it might be a good idea for me to get out, she said finally. You won't regret it, Lila. Jessica gushed. She could hardly contain her joy. Operation Breakup was nearly complete. Sometime later, Stephen scuffed his toe in the dirt as he watched the crowd gather in the bleachers before the Big Mesa football game. His eyes scanned the field.
I really wish it said the Big Mesa football game.
Well, yeah, but now I'm like, which is it? Like, is it the Big Mesa?
No, because big is capitalized, so it's like Big Mesa.
But it's also the beginning of the sentence.
Oh, shit.
So we might never know.
Fuck.
What? Wait, what?
Wait, what? No.
Is it Big Mesa or is it the Big Mesa football
No, it's Big
game?
Mesa.
No, it's capitalized.
Yeah, it's Big Mesa.
Oh, wait. It isn't. I'm an idiot. Never mind.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Edit that out. Edit it. Edit
You know
that
I
out.
won't. I will not.
That's why it's a joke. Excuse me, he heard a feminine voice behind him. Stephen moved aside to let a pretty brunette girl pass. She started making her way up the bleachers toward a gangly guy who was waving enthusiastically.
Who's that dork?
I know.
The girl wrapped her arms around the dork's neck and kissed him gently on the cheek. Stephen gazed at them and felt a pang of nostalgia for Billy. Oh. Sighing, Stephen wished for a moment that he was still in high school and could start all over again. Compared to
You're
what's
not
been
even
going on...
20.
Oh my God, Steve, get it together.
Compared to what's been going on in my life now, I'd take those days in a minute, he thought. He
What?
checked his watch and realized he was running late. Gathering up his hot dog wrapper and empty soda cup, Stephen started to make his way down the bleachers. The crowd erupted into wild cheers and applause just as Stephen dumped his trash in a garbage can. Yeah, throwing away trash is great, crowd.
I did a good job. He looked up to see that Ken Matthews, the SBH quarterback, had just scrambled for a touchdown. The whole team was congratulating him in the end zone with butt pats. Stephen's shoulders slumped as he turned to head for the school building. For an odd moment, he wanted to be Ken, to feel that sense of elation and total confidence. Stephen, did you peak in high school? Right now, Matthews didn't have a care in the world. Have you seen that TikTok of that girl that's like mad about the nerds from high school being the people who make the laws now?
No?
There's a TikTok that people are like ripping this chick apart, and she I think she got fired also because she said the N-word in another video or
Oh,
something.
great.
But it's just like it's this just very like basic bitch, clearly peaked in high school. And she's just like, aren't you guys mad that all the nerds that we fucking made fun of in high school and like beat up and pushed into lockers and gave swirlies, those are like the ones that are all in charge of everything now that we're out of high school? And she literally says something like, they're the Faucis of the, she's like, they're like the Faucis and the Zuckerbergs of the world. She's like, they're the ones like making all the laws and doing everything. Why are we scared of these fucking stupid fucking nerds? And people are
What's
just
her
like,
name? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
no, she just looks like some dumb, just like basic blonde idiot. And people are just like, it's because you peaked in high school.
Yeah.
It's
because they studied
It's
and
'cause-
learned
yeah.
things like science.
It's exactly, yeah. It's just like because they studied and they worked hard. So now they have all the jobs that do things. And you're just an idiot.
Yeah.
Who got fired.
They're realists and they care and they put in the effort.
Yeah. It's just like, it's wild to see a full adult person being like, why
Why can't I be a teenage bully anymore?
Yeah, like, why are we letting these fucking nerds do stuff? It's like, because no one cares.
Yeah, because your opinion is
I don't know.
worthless.
'Cause get a fucking job, idiot. Stephen felt as if he had the weight of 10 worlds on his shoulders.
10.
Fucking
One world's not heavy enough.
how? He had spent hours now trying to figure out what his next steps should be in investigating the Fowler Crest case. You're not an investigator. He wished for the 100th time that he had been able to convince the DA that John Pfeiffer Mellencamp was worth investigating. Stephen was sure that if he could just get a look around John's room, he would find something that would link him undeniably to the fires. But only the police could get a legal warrant to search someone's house. Damn laws. Stephen kicked at a small stone in frustration. As he approached the back door of the school, his chest felt hollow and his stomach was queasy. Moments ago, Elizabeth had told him that Lila wanted to meet him by the bathrooms. She'd said that it was important. It had been days since Stephen had seen Lila when he made her throw a soda can in a 7-Eleven parking lot. The letter...
Are they still dating? Did they break up?
So? I don't know. They didn't. I don't know. They didn't break up.
They just
Yeah.
haven't seen each other in days?
I
Or,
guess.
I mean, talk to each other in days?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Lila got the forged letter from Steven after the soda can thing. So maybe she just, like, is avoiding him. Wait, no.
No, other way around.
Steven got the forged letter from Lila.
Yeah.
So maybe he's avoiding her. She's been busy dealing with contractors
Yeah.
who are rebuilding her house.
Parents still aren't home.
Yeah. The letter she had sent about their future together had really made him think. He had to tell Lila that it was over.
They just didn't want the same things. Damn. The problem was Stephen hadn't really figured out how to handle it yet. He had been biding his time, trying to come up with a gentle way to break it to Lila, but now it looked like he was going to have to face the music before he was ready. Stephen took a deep breath as he pulled open the door. Everything in him wished that he could ditch this meeting with Lila. I'm tired.
That's okay.
At the same time, he knew he couldn't keep avoiding her forever, particularly since he was still working on her case. Stephen bit his lip and headed down the main corridor towards the bathrooms. With every step, his heart sank a little further. Please don't make a scene, Lila, he prayed.
Jesus.
And for heaven's sake, don't cry.
Is he telling that to himself?
Yeah.
Keep together, Stephen.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Lila sighed as she leaned against the wall outside the ladies' room. Any minute now, Stephen would come around the corner. He of the little house and barbecue grill.
Oh!
He of the little house and barbecue grill, Lila thought, curling her lip. What on earth will I do if he suggests a date or tries to kiss me?
Bye.
Lila
He
folded her...
of the little house and barbecue grill. So saith thou.
Lila folded...
Oh, that sounds so terrible.
I know, right?
Yeah, right?
That sounds like us.
Yeah.
I like that about you.
Aw.
You grilled for me tonight.
I did. It was really good.
Yeah. Lila folded her arms and stared at the floor. She wanted nothing more than to run away, to get on a plane and head for some tropical island. Maybe see her parents again. She watched a couple pass, laughing and swinging their clasped hands. She longed to be as carefree as they were.
Oh my God.
I can't even leave town until I'm cleared of charges. The tropical island is out, she thought wistfully. She was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I love like people in this book, like people that are currently in high school or 1 year out of high school, and they're like, God, I wish my life was simpler like when I was in high school.
Yeah. But I remember being in high school and dating someone I didn't want to date and thinking, like, I guess I'll have to marry him. I guess this is the rest of my life now.
Oof.
I'm 17. It's decided. There's no way out.
Yeah, to be fair, when you're in high school, when you're like 16, 17, everything does seem like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like everything seems like the most...
Everything's so serious.
So serious.
You have no perspective.
No, yeah.
And we couldn't even go to tropical islands.
No.
Even if we weren't on probation.
I've never been to a tropical island.
They're pretty nice.
Yeah. Highly recommend.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
We haven't been in
10 years.
10 years. 11 years.
I'd like to go get shit-faced on an island.
It's nice.
Like once.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just drink rum on a beach.
Yes.
Under an umbrella
Not
so you
rum.
don't die. Not rum? That's what you
Well,
do.
no, I can't have liquor.
Oh.
The gout.
The gout. Maybe the sun would cure your gout. Is that a thing?
That sounds like
I mean,
something
it's
doctors would have
worth a
thought in
shot.
like the 1870s.
It's worth a shot.
I would have
Let's
made
just
a
go put him in
great
the sun.
doctor 200 years ago.
Oh boy.
I mean, for scientific purposes, it's worth some research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you rule it out if you haven't tried it?
And by research, I mean just going and doing it without researching.
Yeah.
Of course. Chris, it's your page.
Oh.
I'm so sorry
Where
to
did
tell
I
you.
leave off?
I don't know.
Stephen is the only one.
Okay. Stephen is the only one who truly believes in me and will help me clear myself of charges. I have to be grateful to him for that, no matter what I think of his idea of the perfect future. Still, Lila knew it was time to tell Stephen how she felt. It wouldn't be fair to stay with him any longer. Jessica had been right all along. She and Stephen were a horrible mismatch. Lila only hoped he wouldn't be so angry and hurt that he would drop her case. She still needed his help.
I can't believe their plans work.
Because of the whole arson thing. that
I
they
feel
won't let
like
you
it's
forget
about to fall
about.
apart immediately.
That's true. I hope it does.
I think they're both going to be way too chill about breaking up, and the other one's going to be like, wait, what?
Wait, what? Yeah, exactly.
Lila looked up and saw a figure advancing toward her. There was no mistaking the way those broad shoulders swung slightly when he walked, the way his head was held high, and that slightly defiant thrust of his chin. The moment of reckoning with Stephen had
That does
finally
not
come.
sound like the Stephen I know.
No.
That sounds way more confident.
Yeah.
Lila twisted her hands as the knot in her stomach tightened.
End of chapter.
Oh shit. Bum 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 bum. I did a Lost thing that time.
I feel lost.
Yeah. Boy.
Only 3 notes
Yeah.
again. This
Girl.
book really slowed
This
down.
book is really the middle book of a trilogy.
It really is. God damn.
That was such a. I don't know if this is a compliment or an insult.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's an accurate statement. But it's like, is that bad or good?
Is that Lila at the top of Chris's background? That's gotta be
Oh, is
Lila.
I don't.
She
Well,
looks
that's
like a brunette bitch.
That's Elizabeth. That's Jessica. That's probably Lila. And that
Yeah.
what the fuck is Elizabeth's friend's name that I can't remember?
I think.
Enid.
Yeah,
That's probably
she looks
Enid.
like an Enid.
Yeah.
More importantly, can you find your boyfriend in time for the big date?
Oh man, I wish we had this
I
game.
want that.
You want your boyfriend in time for the big date?
Yes.
Well, what is gonna happen next time on Sweet Valley High? Fight fire with fire. This is, what does that title even mean? No one has fought fire with fire. Is there gonna be another fire? Can there please be another fucking fire in this book?
Or just like
Yeah.
something other than.
Or a fire. There hasn't been a fire in this book at all.
Yeah. The last book, for as far as we know, had 2 fires.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I thought this was going to be a lot
Who
more
are we
interesting.
supposed to be mad at for picking this?
I guess ultimately me, but Katie is the one who picked this book, so really it's
Okay,
Katie's
so
fault. It's
this is Katie's fault.
It's all Katie's fault.
Katie, if you're listening, the next time you see me, you can be mad at me for saying this, but fuck you for picking this book.
Katie, you fucked up.
I blame Jonathan.
You're off the podcast
Don't you
forever, Katie.
dare blame Katie.
Yeah, I love Katie.
And if you don't say anything, that's cool. That's cool. We'll just acknowledge that you're not going to get into public spats about our choices.
I want us to have like a who the fuck am I thinking of?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
The rap battle that's currently happening. It's between Drake and
Oh.
someone.
None of us are cool enough to know who either of those people are.
You know who Drake is?
Drake and somebody, I don't know.
Drake and
I
someone
know.
are in a rap battle or rap battle or rap
you guys
fight.
don't remember the other one.
I don't remember the other one.
It's Kendrick.
Oh. I mean, yeah.
And I know that. And
Okay.
I'm not cool at
You
all.
could have told me instead of yelling at me.
I could buy
I
this game for
apologize.
$25.
Say what?
I could buy that board game for $25.
For $25?
From like a online Goodwill store.
Can't afford
It's
not
called
to buy
Goodwill Finds.
that. Anyway, I don't even know why I brought up Drake and Kendrick's beef.
I truly don't either.
Yeah, that seemed like no.
It's really gonna date this show in like 2 years.
Yeah,
Um,
it could date this show in like 5 minutes. You know how fast these kids move
Yeah.
now.
That's
They
true.
probably
It's
made
like
up by
blurs.
now.
I was gonna say it's probably
They look like
no one's
this.
made up. Drake is like a weird, gross pedophile guy, right? Isn't that the whole thing?
I don't fucking know. I don't follow that.
His whole
shit.
thing. He was in like Millie Bobby Brown's DMs when she was like
Oh
13.
yeah, no, I do remember that. But
Yeah.
and that was a while ago.
Well, yeah, that doesn't not make him a pedophile now.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like holy shit, like I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
and it was a while ago.
Yeah, and she's not like the only underage girl that he was talking to.
I don't want to talk about Drake
Yeah.
anymore.
I don't
We
either.
had
So
the
gross.
podcast.
Somebody stop me, as the mask once said.
God.
As the mask once said,
Thank you for listening to Below Grade Level. You can
the
follow.
height of comedy.
You can follow us. Oh boy. Just follow us on stuff, cactusrodeo.com/podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe and follow Below Grade Level and our other shows, The Sketchy Show and CD Reads, to listen to more of us being funny. Yeah, I hope more fun things happen. If nothing else, we got a couple of good guests coming up, so
Yeah.
our friends will help us through.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to have fun.
We'll have fun. You'll have fun listening. Anyway, we love you. Bye.
Bye.
And if you don't have fun listening, guess what? We're not stopping. We're going to keep going.
Oh, no,
if only to piss you off.
do this for me.
Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.
Look the same at Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley. Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley. Sweet Valley. You can never really tell which one you're standing next to. One thing is for sure, you can be sure of nothing. Lots of gossip going round about this one, that one. Not too many secrets left in the world.